Well, let's just start with saying, what is an epiphany?
Oh my God, what is an epiphany? Well, he's probably recorded before, but I'm going to start the same way I was. An epiphany is probably what I'm about to get on this phone. Let's see.
Have I ever had an epiphany? It all depends on the definition, I would say.
It's like when you meet someone you really don't expect to meet. And it's always amazing, like it's always a real surprise.
It's like, it's almost like a decision you don't see coming. Something like you don't see it coming, but when it comes and it's there, you know it.
Compounded past experiences or impressions left on you by experiences that force you to realize that you are in the moment.
A staircase to get up, lush green moss, bright green leaves, a colorful red bridge, colorfully red, well, dark red bridge, robins.
A moment where you are not in duality, you know, you are not, there is no more you and the rest of the world, but just a short moment when it's the same thing.
Most of the time for me, it's going to be some kind of spiritual awakening, some kind of wake up and smell the roses, some kind of, I know the speed limit says 60, but hey, let's do 45 and enjoy the scenery type thing, because after this is over, there's not going to be another one.
Oh wow, that means, and that feels so good, and oh, that opens up a whole new vista. It's like driving down the road and you come around the curve and suddenly
It's
a flash.
At that moment, I said, wow!
I think fantastic would be a word to describe it.
I couldn't go back. And at the time, I remember thinking, I can't go out. I can't go back. And even the very next day or the very next minute, it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to have some sort of major impact.
You don't know if it's good, you don't know if it's bad, you don't know if it's going to add to your life, take away from your life, benefit humanity, worsen humanity. All you know is that you now see something different that you hadn't before out of past experiences that you already had.
They take away certainty. They take away a sense of satisfaction. And once you've had one, you think, well, what are the ones I haven't had that I need to have, or I should have, or could have?
I've got the feeling that I'm forgetting about epiphanies I could have experienced.
This is the part, it's kind of difficult, but okay. Just slide down. Doesn't matter. There's a carpenter ant right there. There's another one.
In French, we say that there is the rational thinking and there is the magical thinking. And magical thinking puts energy in everything and magic everywhere. And I've got the feeling that it's the epiphany is the question of powers, of energy, but in the most noble way. Like we are surrounded by nature, by thoughts, by people, and it's kind of a maelstrom of energy. And sometimes in the right moment, in the right circumstances, it's like you meet the energy in person.
I had an awakening. I had a blowout. It was blood on this side of my face dripping down my shirt, and and I looked up at the sky and I said, God, what is going on? Depressed for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I didn't move. I wouldn't even leave the house. I would get up, go to the bathroom, pray. I would go back to sleep. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would pray. I would get up in the morning, pray, get ready for work, go to work. I would pray all day. God is saying, but why do we have to go through stuff in life to do what we should have been doing the whole time?
When did you have the epiphany? In that experience?
At the moment when my face got clubbed, I had the epiphany at that moment. The suddenness of realizing you're lost is almost being they're almost intertwined. They're almost at the same time, because you can't be found unless you know you were lost. So once you realize you're lost, it's kind of like you're found at the same time, because now you want to move in an entirely different direction. So they're like this. I was lost at 11:59. I realized, oh my God, what am I doing in life? I need to do better. Well, at that moment, your thought process changed at the same time that the realization of being lost happened. So of course, you're a different person in that same millisecond. In that same second, you're somebody new.
If epiphanies happen in the moment, how do you know it's going to be life-changing? So in a sense, it's almost counterintuitive, because you have to act upon the epiphany in order to see if it's life-changing. So you have to be able to take every epiphany, every instance of alignment of different impressions, and not take them for granted, and try to test their reliability. Try to see whether or not they could be actualized in real life. And then, and only then, can you realize that those actions are life-changing from the epiphany. If you just can think that epiphanies right then off the bat, in and of themselves, come with life change, change won't come.
It's like you have the epiphany, but it has to sink. So what I did was I went home and I turned off my phone. I turned off my TV. I fasted for about 2 weeks. It was no radio, no TV, no talking to anybody on the telephone, no nothing, to allow myself to take in and pretty much meditate over all the experiences that have gone on. And basically,
maybe it's always happening and we don't see it. And maybe when it's happening to us, we are able to see it. It's like something covered, and we don't know why sometimes it's undercover, but I mean, I have this lecture because of Buddhist philosophy, that says that you have veil on the face, and this is your karma. And when you practice Buddhist philosophy like meditation and everything, you try to get off all the virus and to be Buddha. I mean, everything as a Buddha in you. I mean, everybody is Buddha, but you can't be it because of all your action. And I think Epiphany maybe it's that. Maybe so. Yeah, I can tell it that it's something that we can't reach. It's something that we have, but that we can see.
There's one thing that connects all the living things in the world, and so like the Native Americans, they like to make themselves one with those things. Though people may underestimate the squirrels and the birds, they're still beings too. And though they might not be able to talk, they're still there and have their own thoughts about things.
And if you drew a picture of an epiphany, what would you draw?
I'll draw the strangest picture. I'll draw a picture with trees. I'll draw a picture with trees, maybe 3 trees. And the first tree would be, all the trees would be the same size. But in order to determine the differences between the trees, you have to look at maybe the color in the leaves, what extra details I added in the leaves, the roots, how many roots did I draw on this tree, how much grass is growing around this tree, the branches on this tree. Like, just, you have to just look at it. Like, if you look up, then I'll draw the sky. And people may be used to seeing the sky as blue, but the sky is not always blue. Sometimes it's, when a sunset comes, it's kind of like a pinkish color, pinkish orangish color. So you have to really pay attention to details.
What it really is, seems to me, in the way we learn, is that yes, we get a new piece and we put it in the puzzle, but there is no box that's got the picture on the cover. And there's an unlimited number of pieces. They are innumerable. And we're always finding new pieces, and we should always be willing to take the puzzle apart and say, oh, I have to do that over. And now it's a whole new different picture. So the puzzle analogy is a great analogy if we make it not a real puzzle, or not the kind of puzzles we make anyway. Because it seems to me that if we're doing science, say, and we have all the puzzles we have all the pieces, and we think, oh, I just need one or two more pieces to finish this puzzle of this scientific problem, then really we have a major problem on our hands, because we know exactly what shape the pieces need to be. Like when you get a big puzzle and all you've got is one piece left, you know exactly what's going to be, what the shape's going to be, and it seems to me that's not really being open to an epiphany. An epiphany means, you know what the hell is going to happen. You come around that corner and somebody's going to blow up your puzzle. That's a real epiphany.
Stuff happens. So if you're having a meeting, you have an agenda. Some stuff is just going to happen through the way of that agenda. Everything is not just going to go according. Some stuff you may not even get to. Some stuff may take more time than you planned for it to happen. And it can all be good, or it can some be bad. But planning, when you plan, you have to just think about it a little bit, that something else may actually happen.
So it's come from outside. I mean,
Yeah, but you have to be open to it.
Okay.
It comes from outside, but if you're looking at something else,
okay,
it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
It changes you, but you can't measure the change, or you can't build something on that change.
No, I don't think it's because maybe you can put volunteer, like that's how we live, you know.
Yeah, it's not a question of will.
Yeah, of will. Sorry. Like I want to do this, or I want to be that, so I'm gonna do the thing that I have to do. But I think it's not in this. It's not in this. Yeah.
It's not the same system.
Yeah, you can.
It's not the system of you want something, you put your will, and you'll have the thing.
Yeah.
There's something about in our emotions, something that registers in my emotions that makes the epiphany so final. It's like, I don't know if it's that last fact that I was reading or whatever, but there's a sensation that says, oh, the hammer went down and it made a big dent, and there's nothing I can do about that. I can't, it's too late. The hammer's fallen. There's a dent on whatever, the wood. So So in my mind, there's something that I can sense about the finality of it all. Whereas when you're studying something, things are often, in studying, you're always working with probabilities. Well, it could be this, it could be that. But the thing about the Epiphany is, it seems very final. It seems like, oh, well, there will have to be some major earthquake to overturn this one. And those earthquakes for me usually haven't come. That is, I usually haven't gone back to something.
What do you think is important about like coming down here and having this experience, or what attracts you to come down here?
Adventure.
I just stood outside and just looked up and looked all around, and I noticed that I shouldn't take stuff for granted. Like the trees, like they are special in some way. I started looking up at the sky. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was just like,
It's a good question.
I think it's because alright. I think I find an extremely big value of the Epiphany moment because I live something that I can't rationally understand, which is kind of what we are trying to do when we are trying to make a film or to write something which has to do with art. So it's like that we are trying, desperately trying and not succeeding at it, to find that kind of moments that we could have created, that trying to create that kind of moments for other people, which is a very ambitious and non-modest thing to do. But we are trying to do that, to find that emotion. And the fact that we will always fail is part of the game, and it's the beauty of it. That you're going to try to put something that you can't express in a film, an emotion which is more powerful than everything else, and you're gonna fail, but you're gonna try something like that, and the try is what you can do best.
I totally disagree. Like, I wouldn't say that I try to, I mean, for the film, for example, if I take the same example of create something in the film, I mean, I don't try to create something, but maybe I would say I try to put good circumstances that maybe something happened. So it's not me to create, it's like I have an idea and I do, I rebook people, I wrote certain story, something like that. Maybe it's gonna happen, and I think maybe it's always happen, but it can be very thin or very big, and I can control it. So for me, it's never a fail because it's always happening.
So you mean that Epiphany is always happening when you're making a scene or you're...
No, or maybe it's always happening and we don't see it. And maybe when it's happening to us, we are able to see it. It's like something cover, and we don't know why sometimes it's undercover, you know.